whole of the Vatican and the Catholic Church is full of secrets because of what it's done over the last 2,000 years.
You can find actual documents that show that members of the Vatican helped Nazis escape.
On February 11, 1929, Vatican City became an independent city-state, although it has existed since the 4th century. Over the centuries, the city has collected and stored several mysterious documents, artifacts, and items. People have speculated for a long time that the Vatican holds many dark secrets, and it has finally been confirmed that the Vatican has a secret archive. What could be so important or secretive that the Vatican has refused to reveal the location of the secret archives? Why have they refused to grant the public access to these archives? Join us as we dig deep into the very depths of Vatican City to uncover secrets that the Catholic Church and its popes have been hiding for centuries. Despite being the smallest country in the world, the Vatican is historic and holds many mysteries that will surprise you. Nestled within Rome and Italy, the city-state has a population of less than 1,000. You might think this is because of the city's land area, but the truth is, this is done deliberately. You cannot become a citizen of the Vatican by birth or through any other regular methods practiced across the world. Citizenship is given by appointment by the papacy for those serving the Holy See. Individuals who function in such a capacity can extend their citizenship to spouses, parents, and other relatives who live with them. At the end of the appointment, the citizenship ends. Why does the Vatican operate its citizenship this way? Let's find out. As you will discover in this video, there are many secrets the Vatican doesn't want the world to know about. These secrets could change the beliefs of many Catholics and Christians around the world. As a result of this, the Pope handpicks individuals who are loyal and won't reveal their secrets to live in the city. Even though tourists and pilgrims visit the Vatican City daily, the sensitive areas where secret information are kept are not accessible to outsiders. So if you go to the Vatican City, you'll be allowed to visit the captivating architectural works of art such as the Vatican Museum, Raphael's rooms, the Sistine Chapel, and St. Peter's Basilica. However, if you try to enter the private areas, security guards will stop you. As expected, people have become curious because of the Vatican's actions, weird practices, and tight security, leading them to believe that there are hidden secrets in the Vatican. Since most of the Vatican's surface is accessible to visitors, many have speculated that the hidden secrets are underneath the Holy City. As the fascination about what lies underneath the city increases, the Vatican has continued to expertly keep most of these secrets hidden. Yet the next scene will uncover these hidden secrets. Naturally, you would expect to find archives of historical and religious texts preserved over the centuries for historical and religious sites such as the Vatican. Although some materials are made available to the general public, many other documents and items are kept hidden away from the public eye. Interestingly, the volume of these documents is large, and the archives are full of books, individual sheets and scrolls, lost documents, ancient texts, and more than 200,000 manuscripts are some things kept hidden in these chamber of secrets. People have formulated theories about these archives, and one that seems to capture the interest of many is the existence of extraterrestrial beings working with the Vatican. The propounders of this theory insist that the Vatican has met with these strange beings and is collaborating to determine our world's fate. Another theory revolves around ancient texts and documents that the Vatican is aware of, which contain the history and secrets of strange and ancient societies, mystical powers, and prophecies of apocalyptic magnitude that have not been revealed to the public. The Vatican began to collect and preserve documents as far back as the 1st century. With the rise of the first set of popes, they were committed to documenting events and happenings around them. As the church grew, more documents and items were made, and the papacy decided that these documents should be stored carefully in a location that would serve as the Pope's residence. This arrangement will make it easy for the next Pope to continue preserving items and documents as his predecessor had done. In 1527, the papacy and the Catholic Church suffered a huge loss. When Pope Clement VII was forced to escape from the Vatican due to siege of Rome, most of the archived documents were thrown into the streets. These documents became lost forever. The event in 1527 was just one of the many that caused the Catholic Church to lose important documents. To prevent this from happening again, Pope Paul V began the official collection and storage of such special documents in a secret archive in 1612. It's reported that the oldest documents collected and stored were as old as the 8th century. Yet many people believe that other documents are much older than that. When Pope Paul VII ordered the establishment of the archive, he directed that every document should be stored in a single location and be under the Holy Vatican City. Since this order, the archives have been known officially as the Vatican Apostolic Archive, formerly the Vatican Secret Archive, Archivum Apostolicum Vaticanum in Latin. From its establishment to date, the location has remained the same. The archive structure is designed as a sort of underground bunker and not necessarily a library. The common notion is that it has only a single entrance. However, many believe this to be untrue. With the influence the Roman Empire and the Vatican have had over the centuries in shaping history, many believe that the contents of the secret archives are of great significance to the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity and humanity in general. Therefore, this next chapter will reveal in detail some of the archive's contents. So far, we've only told you some important documents are in the archive. Still, we've not revealed their specific content and details. This is where it gets interesting. If you can enter the secret archives under the Vatican City, mind you, the archives are not the only thing under the Vatican City. There's also a pagan necropolis right under the St. Peter Basilica, which is said to be where St. Peter was buried. There's so much the Vatican is hiding, but let's go back to the archives, where you'll find letters several individuals wrote to the Pope in charge. For instance, one of such letters is the one written by Michelangelo to Pope Julius II in 1854. In the letter, the renowned Italian sculptor and painter requested payment for his work at the Sistine Chapel. There are also letters from Jefferson Davis, the Confederate States of America president during the American Civil War, who wrote to Pope Pius IX in September 1863. Abraham Lincoln had written a letter to Pope Pius IX on April 10, 1861. The letter of King Henry VIII, which he wrote to Pope Clement VII in 1530, when he sought the annulment of his wife by the Pope, can also be found in the archives. Some of these letters carry more significance than others. However, because they are communications between the Pope and other individuals, the Vatican decided to protect the details of each letter from unauthorized eyes. Apart from letters, you'd also find official papal edicts in the archives. A famous edict in the archives is the papal bull De Set Romanum Pontificum, issued by Pope Leo X on January 3, 1521, when he excommunicated Martin Luther for refusing to renounce all of his writings. The papal bull or decree, Inter Cantera, is another famous papal edict in the Vatican secret archives. In this decree, Pope Alexander VI authorized Spain and Portugal to colonize the Americas and make the native people their subjects. According to this decree, Spain and Portugal were given the right to colonize, convert, and enslave the native peoples. This mandate also served as a justification for the enslavement of Africans. The archives also contain the trial of the Knights Templar in 1307. The details of the trial are contained in a scroll that is almost 60 meters long. The scroll was thought to be lost but found in 2001. The Templar Order used to hold so much power in Europe and spread its influence all across the continent. However, at the turn of the 14th century, the members of this order were charged with several crimes, found guilty, and sentenced to death at the stake. This is known history, but the Vatican documents altered how the event transpired. Another interesting fact found in the archive that was handwritten is the trial of Galileo Galilei, which started in 1633. It's quite obvious the Catholic Church loved its trials in those days. Galileo's trial was because he claimed, contrary to the age belief, that it was the Earth that revolved around the Sun and not the other way around. Finally, one confirmed document in the archives is the Doctrine of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary, written on December 8, 1854. From what we've discussed so far, it's plain to see that the Vatican has taken the liberty, at different times, to alter the records of historical texts. But what if we told you that they did the same for biblical texts? The next revelation will shock you. It's been speculated and theorized by several individuals and groups that the biblical texts, as we have them today, were manipulated by the Catholic Church under the command of the Vatican. These theories focus on the incomplete details of Jesus' life while he was on earth. These conspiracy theorists believe what we know today is different from what transpired. Several historians and researchers have said that the documents detailing the true accounts of Jesus' life are kept in the secret archives, and the Vatican has chosen to remain silent and kept them hidden. If the truth is revealed, it might shake the already established views of Catholics worldwide and even change how many perceive Christianity as a whole. One of the major evidence these theorists use to support this claim is that the early years of Jesus were unknown until he was 30. After all, if there are records of his visit to Jerusalem at age 12, there should be records of other periods of his early life. Some researchers and world best-selling author Dan Brown, who wrote the Robert Langdon series of novels, have speculated that Jesus had a spouse and even children. They believe there are documents in the archives that support this claim. Still, the Vatican will not reveal them because they will shatter the entire beliefs of Christianity. Not only that, exposing such documents would present the Church as a sham. But the necessity of having a pope would also be greatly questioned. Those who are skeptical about such theories and claims have thrown their support to the Vatican. They uphold the fact that there isn't anything secretive about the Vatican having an archive and that is kept away from private eyes. The former name, the Vatican Secret Archives, was nothing more than indicating the privacy of the archive. Moreover, the Latin word for private is secreto, which was part of the archive's original Latin. These supporters of the Vatican assert that, just like any other group or organization that keeps certain documents private, the Vatican also has the right to keep certain sensitive information, such as personal papal letters and documents, private. Even the Vatican acknowledged the misconception that the earlier name might have caused. So they changed the name from the Vatican Secret Archives to the Vatican Apostolic Archives. Accessing the archives is one of the most difficult things to accomplish on Earth. No one else has access to the Vatican archives except the popes for several centuries until 1881, when Pope Leo XIII allowed certain people limited access to the archives. To gain this limited access, you must be known globally as a scholar and get approval from the Vatican's holy authorities. Getting this approval can last for years, even for a renowned scholar. Furthermore, you would still have to pass through other checks. You need to state the document or text you want to study in clear terms. You can't walk around the archives like it's a library. So you have to prove yourself a renowned scholar, get approval, state clearly what you were searching for, and then only study what you were given. In other words, the officials in the archives will bring only 3 folders each day for you to study that relate to what you're searching for. These documents are usually not organized when given to you, so making heads or tails out of them is challenging. The strict process and limited access make it difficult for researchers to find anything meaningful. If they do, it might take several years of continuous research. It's more surprising that the Church must know what you found. They will then decide whether you can use the information in your public research. The next chapter further reveals how the Vatican distorts history. In 2020, several human rights groups pressured the Vatican tirelessly to release certain documents about World War II that they believed were kept hidden in secret archives. After much pressure, several millions of documents were released, focusing on Pope Pius XII. The details of these documents were quite shocking and produced several reactions and responses from the public. While many people felt he could have done more during the war to save the lives of many, Some even went as far as calling him Hitler's Pope because of the letters that were exchanged between both parties. Others, on the other hand, have insisted that there wasn't much he could do at the time and denounced such claims of him being a supporter of the Nazis. Despite the shocking revelations the documents exposed, many still believe that the Vatican still withheld certain secrets about the war and their involvement in it. With this strict protection of information and secrets, one can only imagine what else is hidden in the bunker-like archives. As usual, the conspiracy theorists have much to say regarding the matter. There has been much speculation that the Holy Grail, a religious artifact, is hidden in the archives. This item is believed to be the cup that Jesus used during the Last Supper, and the same one that was used to collect Jesus' blood during his crucifixion. Several legends describe this cup as having miraculous healing powers and providing infinite sustenance of eternal youth. Other religious items that many have speculated to be in the archives are the original Ark of the Covenant that God instructed Moses to construct, the cross on which Jesus was crucified, and the crown of thorns that was placed on his head. Those are just some items that many speculate are hidden in the Vatican's secret archives. A theory has even gone ahead to counter another theory that claims that there's a copy of the original correspondence between Roman Emperor Nero and St. Paul that proves that Jesus existed. The counter-argument to this claim is that if such existed, the Vatican ought to have released it to finally end the dispute surrounding the existence of Jesus. They believe such a document hasn't been released because it doesn't exist. They theorize that 5 documents in the archives prove that Jesus did not exist. The secrets get even more sinister. A group of archaeologists were exploring Solomon's tomb in 1750, and they came across a book that was quite strange and very disturbing. It was written in Aramaic or Hebrew, but the researchers discovered it was a copy of another much older version. They suggested that the copy was written in the 13th century or earlier. What surprised the researchers the most was its content. The book contained detailed and specific instructions for making magical talismans, summoning demons, and the devil himself. The strange book was called the Grand Grimoire. In a shocking turn of events, the Vatican claimed ownership of the book and stored it in the secret archives. The big question is, how can the Vatican claim a book of such nature? There are more questions. Did they write the book? And if they did, why would they do that in the first place? These are questions we still don't have the answers to and paint the Vatican in a dark light. So much so that many are losing faith in the Vatican, the Pope, the Catholic Church, and Christianity in general. In addition to the Grand Grimoire, hidden deep underneath the Vatican City, reports suggest a prophecy about the world's end that the Vatican is hiding. The pressure made the church finally confirm its reality. Moreover, many believe that the church still distorted some details about the prophecy and hid so many details about it. What's the prophecy all about? The prophecy refers to the Fatima's secrets. According to the documents, 3 Portuguese children in 1970 received mysterious and ominous prophecies and several visions about the Virgin Mary. Thousands of people were said to have even seen one of these visions. According to the Vatican, the 3rd child received a vision where she saw a city that was utterly destroyed, with several corpses littering the streets. She also said that she saw the Pope climbing the highest hill in that region and was killed right after he prayed. It's a doctrine in the Catholic Church that a woman cannot be a pope. Women are not ordained, so they do not meet the requirements to become a pope. However, legend says that the Church has already had a female pope. Despite the denial from the Vatican and the proof that debunked this legend, many believe there's a document in the archives proving a female pope existed. What's the story behind this legend? After the death of Pope Leo IV, a conclave was held. A woman who would come to be known as Pope Joan contested for the papacy. This was after proving herself to be a renowned scholar and priest disguised as a man over the years. She emerged victorious at the conclave, was installed as Pope John VIII, and reigned from 1855 to 857 AD. However, She was discovered in 858 AD when she entered labor unexpectedly during a papal procession. She was said to have died during childbirth, while others said she was dragged behind a horse and stoned by enraged followers. Numerous paintings at the St. Peter's Cathedral altar depict a woman wearing the papal crown. These paintings, and even a sculpture of a woman's face on a high clergyman's chest by Jean Lawrence Bernardini, have made this legend believable by many people. The next chapter will shock you to your bones. One of the most outlandish claims people have made about the hidden secrets of the Vatican is that Satan himself is alive and roaming the corridors of the Vatican. As we said, this is an outlandish claim. However, it's not an easily dispelled theory. First, the Grand Grimoire is hidden in the archives, which can summon Satan himself. What if the Church did such and now has him living in the Vatican? Sounds crazy, but the number of demon possessions and exorcisms that have had to be conducted in the Vatican City might be further proof of the reality of this claim. It was reported that Pope John Paul II carried out 3 exorcisms himself. During Pope Benedict XVI's tenure as Pope, he actively expanded the ranks of exorcists worldwide. Before his death, the chief exorcist of the Church, Father Gabriel Amorth, stated that he had exorcised over 300 demons annually from his Vatican office. He even said there are 350 exorcists in Italy alone. The revelation is shocking because it proves there are serious demonic activities in the Holy Seat of the Catholic Church. We can't say conclusively whether all these reports are true or not. However, we know the Vatican is keeping some big secrets from us. Let us know what you think in the comment section. That's all we have for you in this epic video. We believe you loved it and would request you click on the like and subscribe buttons.